What's up? What's up? We're live here with Listen to DP. I got my guy Devin. We got a good one for you right here, man. Brock Purdy. Was it him? Was it the team? Was it the Lions? Was it Dan Campbell? I'm gonna start off by saying I've never been the biggest Brock Purdy fan, but I give him more of a hard time. Like I have eyes, and I understand once again he's not coming off of being the first pick in the draft where we're expecting him to be a Hall of Fame guy. He's literally the last pick of the draft. So we can't expect a last pick of the draft to perform literally any better than Brock Purdy has since he's been the starting quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers. I think it was a mixture of a lot of things that led to the comeback. No ball control, terrible decisions by Dan Campbell not to kick field goals. The one up 14, I do understand. I do not agree with, but I understand. You're up 14, 21, we might be able to take all the wind out of them. Cool. Plus, if they score, we're still up 7. But when you're down late in the game, on the road, in the NFC Championship, and you don't elect to kick a field goal to tie the game, not to extend the lead,
to tie it,
not to bring it to a 1 point, to tie the game, that's unexcusable.
In the playoffs,
and we'll get into that more, but I don't want to go too much in that because that's on another segment, and this one's more about what Brock Purdy did do and not what Dan Campbell did and did not do. But you got to give it to Brock Purdy, man. Like, every game, like, it's weird because he'll start out hot, he'll start out cold, he'll get going, then, like, it's a lot of up and down. But for the most part, he's always figured out, and that has a lot to do with weapons around him and some coaching. He finds out, but he still got to make those throws. He got to level it out. And the thing about it is, Brock will make some of the worst little throws. But then when you go look right after those worst throws, he'll throw it into the smallest windows. And then that gets him going. So I can't say, oh, well, this was because CMC didn't go crazy towards the end. He started having a full game, but it wasn't like he was just dominating. Kittle didn't have a catch till late. Brock used his legs, man. He ran around, and I think that's going to be the key to beating the Kansas City Chiefs is if Brock can run around, because we see that he can be a little off when he just sits back there and throws. But if he runs around, because remember, all these kids now are growing up, training, and being more athletic. So every quarterback, except for the ones that have been in the league
for a while,
5 plus 8 years or more, have grown up being more athletic. So Brock is not Lamar, but these guys are all faster than the D tackles. And remember, Brock is trying to get up the field, and he's not trying to get around the D ends. So he can do that. And when he gets running in the open field, if a linebacker's looking that way and you look back, by the time you get going, he can get past you and get 10, 15, 20 yards. I will say I was impressed with the boys during the comeback just because even though they were not kicking field goals, you still had to march down. The one was a little easy when they fumbled and he got it. That was right there. But other than that, he made some good throws. He got a couple of good bounces to Brandon Ayuk play. But I will say once again, as the last pick of a draft, you cannot literally ask a guy to perform any better. They could have been to back-to-back Super Bowls. For all we know, he got hurt versus the Eagles in the championship game last year. You could be Mr. Irrelevant with 2 back-to-back Super Bowl appearances. And Jimmy G, he wasn't Mr. Irrelevant, and he got him to 1, but he didn't get him back-to-back. And for all we know, he could be not Patrick Mahomes, but they could be the Chiefs of the NFC. Because think about it, the Eagles are about to. The Cowboys are they're doing this right now. Who else in the NFC can compete with these guys?
I don't even want to discuss it. I don't even want to discuss the Cowboys. We can go ahead and keep going. I mean, when it comes to Brock, man, I think that what makes, if you're a real football guy, you are watching, you watch the game. I think that you look at it and it's like a tale of 2 Brocks. You know what I'm saying? You don't know from week to week, the Green Bay game and then this game, it really mirrored each other because he has his moments where it's like, hey, this guy, he looks shell-shocked. He's out there throwing some ducks. He's out there. We don't know what's going on. Then the next thing you know, he looks like a top 5, top 10 guy. And I think that he's one of those guys. What I do like about him, I do admire about him, when he makes those mistakes, he does bounce back. He does keep playing.
His emotions stay right here.
Yep.
There'll be a couple of times, and that's just human nature. He doesn't get too emotional, but you can kind of see it in his face. But you can't hide everything. No. But I'll also say, when he's making some of those big runs, a lot of quarterbacks that get up, Patrick Mahomes does it, Brady's done it. Baker, he stays level throughout the game, even when he's doing really good.
Yeah, he does. And I think that we can tell that, when we look at Shanahan, he's been able to get the best out of him. He got the best out of Jimmy G. I think that scheme and coaching goes a long way. And for a guy to be Mr. Irrelevant, like you said, the last pick in the draft, to be able to guide this team to 2 NFC championship games and now into the Super Bowl, that's a lot of that is coaching. That's ability, but a lot of that is coaching. And I really think that the ability of him to be able to take guys that are average skill level and to be able to do what he's done, I think is amazing. Now, we'll see if he's able to get him over the hump and win it against one of the most blessed and skilled guys in the league, and Patrick Mahomes. We'll see if he's able to do that.
Right now. and we're on a neutral site. I done went up into 2 hostile environments.
Yep.
Now, you got to realize, this is a home game.
It's a home game. Yep.
I feel comfortable here.
Yep.
You ain't never been here. Mm-mm. And the ones of y'all that have been here, y'all ain't never won here.
Yep.
So this is a home game for Pat.
Totally different, man. Totally different. And I think that, again, San Francisco did what I thought they were going to do. They tried to get him some quick, easy throws early on in the game, but it just started snowballing for them boys, man, the way Detroit jumped on them. But I think in that second half, man, once they were able to kind of get the run game going a little bit, I think the play to Ayuk kind of saved them a lot. I really think that
really kept that momentum going. Yep. And once that rolled, then the fumble, I believe, was after that.
Right after that. Yep. Yeah, man. There was so many things that happened. It was a tale of 2 halves, tale of 2 Brocks, So we're going to see, because in the Super Bowl, you make some mistakes that he's making. In these past 2 games, you do that in the Super Bowl, you lose games, and I don't think Patrick Mahomes will let you back in.
Yeah, it's totally different. You got 2 different things. You got a coach that, and Andy Reid, understands his guys and situations more than Dan Campbell does, because Dan Campbell is a new school coach that understands analytics, and that's why he kept doing. Even to be honest, and I know you got to the 2, but it's almost, you don't score that touchdown on the goal line, you take yourself out of a chance to even go for the onside kick. Which was right there. So that's a 20/20 hindsight as well. Oh, and it was a high throw and it had to be an amazing catch.
Yep.
So, and then Dan Campbell, analytics should have told you should have never ran that ball, because then you didn't have the onside kick.
No.
And you would have had 3 timeouts.
3 timeouts.
So there was a lot of situations that happened in that. And like I said, we'll get over to that on him. But what we're saying, Brock, you mess up in this game, Pat ain't giving it back. No. And if, let's say, you happen to get it back, that same guy is the guy that is going to go back if they're up 7 late and Purdy leads a charge to tie it up with a minute. Pat's going to win the game.
Yeah.
Right? So you have to play perfect. See, the problem for them this week is going to be they got to play perfect versus Pat Mahomes. And Purdy is now on the ropes of, dang, if I mess up, it can get out of hand. Whereas all the other weeks, he might not be the better quarterback.
Yeah, he has more leeway.
But I got way more leeway because we're by far the better team.
Yep.
Now, that Chiefs team that looked to not be as good as the Niners might not be the overall, on paper, better team, but they're the team that is playing better. The Niners keep sliding through. They're playing way further away from their potential than the Chiefs are.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, too, I think that, and I don't get me wrong, I like the fact everybody loves a feel-good story. And so I think that Brock's story and the media behind it and all that kind of stuff kind of adds to his little legacy right now and everything, because it is a feel-good story. For a guy to be able to do what he's doing, it's a great story. And I think that a lot of people can get caught up into that as well. At the end of the day, sports is still entertainment. And I think his story is an entertaining story. So we'll see where he goes next week, because If he makes those mistakes, Pat gets another ring, man.
Man, and to end it right here, if they win, where does this put Purdy amongst the quarterbacks in the league? And not only that, if they win, what type of bag does he get?
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna be honest. If he wins it, he almost has to be looked at as like a top 10 guy. I mean, I'll just be honest, because at one point, if we're gonna be honest, if he doesn't look as bad as he looked in the Baltimore game towards the end of the season, he possibly wins the MVP. If we're gonna be honest, right? He looked so horrible.
He was the front runner. He was the front runner. Lamar was number 2. He was number 1.
He was the front runner because Dak had kind of lost it and threw it away, and so he was the front runner. But he had such a terrible game against Baltimore that he lost it. So I feel like if he wins this Super Bowl, he has to be looked at as a top 10 guy. I mean, you can't look at him any differently, to be honest with you. And as far as the money aspect, he can't take anything less than 45. I'll just be honest. You win a Super Bowl, you can't give him anything less than 45. He has to get more than Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones is getting 40 a year. He's gonna get 40. He's getting 40. So I think you have to pay him, and you have to give him what the going rate is. Do I think he deserves to make 50? No, he does not. He's not that guy, but he easily should make 45.
And to be honest, if I'm putting him in the top 7, 8, and the reason why I say that is because you got a Super Bowl, and all the other guys were just basing it off of attributes on paper because they're not winning games.
They're not winning games. Yeah.
Right? I'm putting them in the top 7, 8. And there's just some guys that are just, if you just look at it, like I might not have won a Super Bowl, but like for instance, to Justin Herbert. Like you'll say Lamar and Justin Lamar ain't win. But Lamar's going winning a lot of games, going to 8. Herbert and them are 500. Like there's a difference in not winning and going to the Super Bowl and just not winning and going to playoffs or things like that. But I think if I'm the Niners, I get out ahead of it right at the end of this year because he would have still like franchise years and this and that. I wouldn't even do that, man. Like, because you really, a lot of people, because as long as y'all are constructed like y'all are, he's always going to look good.
Yes.
Now, it's different if you're the Bears and we're like, you had this good year, but we ain't got good guys. Let's see if you can do it. They're too good of an organization. They've been good since Harbaugh's been there, right?
Yeah.
So he's always going to look good. I would actually kind of get him to 40, right under 50, 48-ish, and try and give him a pretty decent signing bonus. Be like, hey, he ain't going to get you 52, 54, 55, but work with us and we can get you more on a guarantee because we can give you 50 a year for 5 years and give you $100 million guaranteed. Or work with us at 46, 47, 48.
Yeah.
Let's get you 150 guaranteed with the ability to kind of move on that back end.
Yep.
I think that's what they should do is get out in front of it, say, let us give you more guaranteed and signing bonus money instead of us trying to lowball you because you want the high money. And I think that's the best way to go about it because also when you give a bigger signing bonus and all that, it helps you on the cap space. So I think that's what you should probably do with him because he's never going to really perform bad as long as McCaffrey, he's looking more rejuvenated. Your scheme lets any probably athletic running back that you can get. Right, McCaffrey's that dude, but you go get somebody like a Gibbs that you can get out of the drafts and all that. There's a lot of guys in college that get busy, right?
That you can throw in that system.
That are catchers because everybody catches the ball now because that 7-on-7 culture. A lot of running backs can do that. So, because then if you really look at it, you don't even really just got dog receivers. You got Debo, who's a running back.
Yes.
And Ayuk is a really good receiver.
He's a really good.
You can find another Ayuk.
Yeah.
And to be honest, you don't need Debo in your offense. You can think about it. CD Lamb is used in a similar way on the Cowboys, just not as much. Find a physical receiver that can take some handoffs. A lot of guys getting handoffs. So it's not like he's just got, Jefferson and Chase. So it's the system. So until your system, you're going to be counting on the system going down if you're counting on Purdy going down.
Exactly.
So I would say just get out in front of it and give him some bread and give him a decent signing bonus.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then when you look at the landscape of the NFC, and you hit it on the head, if we look at the quarterbacks in the NFC, I mean, I hate to say it, he's right there on par with them. Like, he's right there. I mean, Hurts took a step back this year. We felt like Hurts was going to be that next guy, and he took a step back this year. As much as I love Dak, he has to prove it in the playoffs. He has to get certain things done in the playoffs. When you look at it, I mean, he may be one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC. So you do have to kind of pay him like that, especially if they win a ring.
Yeah, like I said, Hurts just got what he got. Dak got what is about to get more.
You're going to get more.
So Zach about to get another bag.
Yep.
And Geno got 35 after being a backup for 10 years.
Yep.
Like Daniel Jones got 40. Like the numbers ain't adding up good for the Niners. So I say try and ask them to work with us, and we'll give you more on guaranteed with give them some incentives. Like we'll give you this plus some incentives that a guy normally wouldn't even get of this stature, but we know that it's still a team-friendly deal. They just got to get out of it, man. But like I said, Brock did his thing. Salute to him. You can't ask. All he can do is what he's supposed to do.
What he's supposed to do.
And he's not losing them games. And they're able to win with him. So regardless if you think he's game managing or if he's doing this, they're winning games with him. So you got to salute to him on that one, man.
Yeah, he's doing the right things. And even, I mean, he was sneaky athletic as well, man. Some of the things that he's doing, getting out of some sacks and stuff like that, you got to give him his props. I don't love him. I don't think he's great. I don't think that he's, right now, I don't think that he's a top. I don't think he's top 7 or 8 by what I see on the field.
Like attributes, no, but when I do it, it's kind of hard because if we start going by attributes, there's a lot of guys like a Jay Cutler that can throw the ball. That was never really good winners.
But if we
go
win
by just throwing it.
Yeah.
But when we, I think we forget sometimes to put that win
out the end of it
in that slot of when we're ranking guys, because when you start ranking, because think about it, when we're ranking guys like Herbert and there is 1, 2, and 3 for some people.
Yeah.
Right? They're not accounting for what you're doing in the win-loss.
In the win column.
You should never put anybody in front of. People put Allen, Burrow, and put Herbert in front of Mahomes. So that tells me you're discounting wins totally.
True.
So that's why I said 7, 8, because when you just go across the board of attributes and this and that, but then the heaviest thing is going to be a win.
Winning? Yeah,
he has to be up there because all those other guys are just, pretty on paper.
Yeah.
And you're losing games. And that's why I said, now we just go talent for talent. That's, of course, you're going to have the Mahomes, and that's where you get it. Talent for talent. That's where they get the Herberts and the Allens and Trevor Lawrence's. But we've seen Trevor Lawrence regress.
Yes.
But, and that's what I'm saying. We're just going off of pure talent and what you were rated as a high school recruit.
Yeah, and I think where you land definitely matters. I think that whether he was the last pick or not, he landed in a great situation, a great coach. He got good weapons around him, guys that produce for him, So, yeah, he's in a great situation, man. And hopefully he can stay in that situation. And hopefully he continue to play the way he does, because like I said, it's a great story.
Facts, man. We'll end that one there. Brock Purdy is taking his team to the Super Bowl, regardless if you think he's leading the way or not, which most of us will believe CMC has led the way for most of the year. He's still the quarterback, and you know how sports works. So he's the guy on paper that is leading, that team, because your quarterback, you can't get to a Super Bowl without good quarterback play unless you have a Ravens defense or the Bears, how they were that year. And the 49ers have proven time and over and over again this year that they're not one of the elite defenses that we still kind of think they are. They get gashed a lot. So it's not like his defense is just shutting people out, holding them to 10, and they're winning football games. So shout out to Purdy, man. We'll leave it there. If you haven't liked, subscribe, share with a friend, family, turn on that notification bell. Be out.